I wanted to do a video on one of my favorite singers um, from the age of 15 to now. And we're like reminiscing on his passing in these last couple weeks. And his name is His Royal Purple Badness, Mr. Prince. I remember I first became aware of Prince when I was about 14 years old. I remember a song that really epitomizes who Prince is, and it was called Soft and Wet. That was the first time I ever heard a Prince song. Um, and I remember my mother thought it was really nasty, and she was going to call the radio station and tell them they shouldn't be playing this song because of the words to it. And being 14, I didn't know what he was singing about. It just sounded good, and he was just weird and different. Not weird, but just different because we were so used to Michael Jackson. I remember when I went and first bought, and I didn't buy an album, I bought an 8-track. I am 51 years old, so back then we had 8 tracks. And I remember having it in my bedroom and with my little earphones on, well, back then, big earphones on, and just sitting and listening to him. Um, and I remember he was on American Bandstand, and I think Dick Clark had asked him a question and he wouldn't talk, and I just thought he was just so different. And he asked him a question. I remember Prince held up his fingers. I don't remember what the question was, but I remember Prince said 4. I don't remember what the question was though. Um, and then like after that, any songs that he would make, I would just be listening to him on the radio in my room, and just liking him more and more. And I remember I used to get this magazine called Right On because they had posters in it, and then it was this big poster of Prince that came out, and he had his hair parted on the side and just big beautiful head of hair. And if I remember correctly, he didn't have on any clothes, or he might have had on like some bikini panties and some thigh-high stockings. And I remember there was one poster that he was in the shower, and another one when it was just a headshot of him, and it was just his hair and his beard, and I think he had a beard back then. But I remember I had that poster up in my room, and when I would play his songs, which is so weird when I think back to it now, if I was downstairs and my mother wasn't home, I would take that poster off the wall and take it downstairs and put it up in whatever room I was in and listen to Prince. And I remember my brothers used to be just laughing at me and thinking I was silly and making fun of me, and I would be crying, and I don't even know, because I was like 15 years old. So you just love them, and when you're a teenager, it's almost like you worship them. um, I used to lay in my bed and imagine myself marrying him, which now that I'm 51 years old, I don't know what I was thinking. This man had on thigh-high stockings, high-heel shoes, bikini underwear, pearls. I don't know. He was just cute to me. But as I got to really liking him, I found out that he was coming to play a concert in the city that I lived in. And me and my little girlfriends, we couldn't wait to go see him. I think back then tickets were like $20, and we got our little tickets, and we went to see him. We caught the bus downtown, and it was, I think the place that because I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, I think the place that we went to see him was called the Convention Center, Cleveland Convention Center, or something like that. I don't remember. It's been so long ago. But I don't even remember who his opening act was. I just remember him coming out on the stage, and I mean, he exploded. He was running all over the stage. It was just, I was so excited to see him. It felt like my heart was like pounding. He ran all over that stage. He played every song. It was actually the longest concert that I'd ever been to, because I don't know if you've ever been to a Prince concert, but Prince, when he plays a concert, Prince will play for hours. I think most musicians, when they give a concert, they may give like a 3, maybe an hour and a half performance, maybe at the most 2. I think that night when I first went to see Prince, he actually played for 3 hours. There was one part in this very first show. I think at the time Prince may have been like 21 years old, but there was a point in the show where Prince, the other musicians stopped playing. And then what happens is Prince goes to every instrument on the stage and he actually plays it. And then it culminates with the playing of his guitar. And then after he played all the instruments, drums, keyboards, just everything, then he gets on this little platform that raises him up off the ground, and he had a white guitar. And I remember he was bathed in a purple light, and then the little pedestal raised him up, and it was just these lights coming down on him, and he just stood there and played the shit out of that guitar. I was so blown away by his performance, that for my little 15-year-old heart, after that, I was a Prince fan for life. And then I continued on liking Prince, and then I went off to college. And I remember Purple Rain came out, and I had to see it, of course, because Prince was like my all-time favorite singer. And I remember going to see Prince's Purple Rain. And when it first started and he started talking and his voice was deep, I don't know how old I was, about 18, 19. Even though this man had on lace and all these costumes that were just off the chain, I thought he was cute. I was like, oh my God, he is just the best. He can play. And then all the songs that he had in the movie, I fell in love with every one of them. Purple Rain, the song Purple Rain at the end, oh my God, I think I was crying at the end. At the movies now, I was crying. Well, yeah, I was crying. When I think about it now, it's so funny. But I saw Prince probably in my lifetime 3 times. I saw the concert where he comes out on the bed, and I don't remember what happened at the other concert, because the concert that I remember the most was the one when I very first saw him. When I heard that Prince died a couple weeks ago, literally, I've been off the past few weeks because I actually had a surgery. And I remember that day I wasn't feeling good, and I had cervical spine surgery and I wasn't feeling good, and I've been sleepwalking on, during the day because I'm on pain meds. So when I woke up, the first thing I do when I wake up, during the day or any time, is like check my phone, see if I got any text or, just what's going on. So I saw like something from my Twitter feed saying that Prince had died. And I was like, no, this cannot be true. Not Prince. And so I turned on the TV and turned to like CNN or MSNBC. I don't remember which one. I think it was CNN. And went online as I was doing that. And then realized it was true that Prince had died. And Prince, because I liked him since I was 14 years old, and it's like Prince has been with me since I was a teenager, I literally started crying. I just couldn't believe that Prince was dead. And yeah, it was him and Whitney Houston. They touched me more than when Michael Jackson died. I don't know why. I think I liked Michael Jackson, but I loved Whitney. And I loved Prince. Because Prince I liked him before I liked Michael Jackson. and before I even knew who Whitney Houston was. So when I found out that Prince was dead, I was like, just, going from station to station, trying to see, what they thought had killed him, or, what happened basically with one of my favorite singers. Now, in recent days, they've started saying that they believe that he was on, prescription drugs. And I understand that Prince had a lot of problems with pain in his hips due to all the concerts and, touring that he did. And, if you ever seen Prince gives a show. I mean, when you go see him, he's jumping off speakers, running all over the stage, splits. James Brown don't have nothing on Prince. Prince was our generation's James Brown. So from what I'm understanding, it was suggested to him several years ago that he have hip surgery, and actually on both hips. And now that I'm older and I know what arthritis pain feels like, and I know what joint pain feels like, because as I mentioned earlier, I had a recent cervical spine surgery. And leading up to that surgery, the pain that you go through from arthritis and, joint issues, it's really bad. It will wake you up in the middle of the night. It aches. I mean, it's just like an aching, shooting pain. So I can only imagine the pain that he was going through. And something that I don't understand with these doctors nowadays. You do need pain meds to manage the pain, because like myself, I have chronic pain with my spine issues. But I think they're over prescribing here lately. And even when I started taking all the pain meds that I'm on for my issue, the first thing I said when they started prescribing it is I was worried about, addiction, because I watch Intervention, and you see a lot of people get addicted to these prescription meds and it comes from an injury or some pain issue that they're having. Even now with my issue, I've been on pain meds for a few months now, and at this point sometimes they don't even work, and it does make you want to take more, because you're hurting. And sometimes what I do is I try to make myself go to sleep, so I don't feel it. I figure while I'm asleep, even if I feel it out, I will only feel it a little bit. So I just think about what that man was going through, and it bothers me that they're gonna go through and sully his character, and it'll take away from his legacy. And I don't know, I'll just remember the Prince that I first fell in love with, the Prince that made my teenage heart flutter, even though he was wearing bikini panties and thigh-high stockings and all of that. Prince was, Michael Jackson was, back when I was younger, was considered the good one, and Prince was the bad boy. And I guess every little good girl, because I was a good girl when I was little, like a little bad boy. So I just love Prince. I just hate that his legacy is going to be tarnished with all this drug stuff. And I hope, if it was due to him having pain with his hip, that they are fair with him. And then all the issues, let me light me a cigarette, with his family and his money. Family's coming out the woodwork, just coming out the woodwork. His sister, I wonder, when Prince was alive, did he have a good relationship with these? I know they said that he took care of some of his family members, and now they're gonna fight over his money, and who gets the say over his vault of music, because I'm pretty sure Prince, because he was a musician, meaning he played instruments, he wrote, he He produced other singers. I'm pretty sure that that vault that they just cracked open in the last few days has just so much music in it. Think of the acts that he wrote for. Think of Batman and Sheila E. and Vanity and that crazy Sinead O'Connor and just all the people, Sheena Easton that he wrote for. Just all the people that Prince actually loaned his talent to. You know, it's just sad, and I just hope that his family does right by him. I hope that they hire someone to oversee his treasure trove of music and do right by him. And I just remember back to the young boy that I remember seeing on American Bandstand, shy, but just a very talented, musically talented. Because nowadays we have these singers who they're so computerized and digitized, and they really can't sing. They're performers, mostly. They're because they can dance. And they have a good stage presence. But what I tell my kids is you take away the dancing, you take away, all the other trappings. Can they stand flat foot on the middle of the stage like a Whitney and just sing? Or like Prince, being able to play every instrument. Do you realize that on Prince's first album, Prince played every instrument? He sang all the harmonies on it. They basically put Prince in a studio and gave him carte blanche to make his first studio album. Prince, for someone to be only 19, 20 years old in a studio, a big company, record company, give him that leeway on his music. That shows you the faith and the talent that they had in him. And what singer now or do you see that they do that for? Prince was we say that Michael Jackson was like a child prodigy, but Prince really was. I don't take anything from Michael because he did his thing too. But if you go back and you look at Prince's just his talent and do some research on him and really give him his due, you'd be amazed at all the good that Prince did, all the music he put out, all the people that respect him in the industry. And I just want to say that rest in peace, Prince, because this, they said that you didn't like, well, I saw an interview where he said he didn't like to call the people that enjoyed his music his fans. He told a story about when he used to call them fans, a fan coming to his house and just being like a stalker. So he said that for him the word fan had a negative connotation, so he didn't like to use that. He didn't say what he liked, what word he preferred. So I would just say I wrote for Prince. I'm not going to call myself a fan. I'm going to call myself one of his loyal followers. I was truly into the purple, truly loved his music, truly was impressed with him just playing all those instruments. I never saw anything like that in my life before, and I haven't seen anything like that in my life since. Prince was like the baddest. He really was. None of these singers today can touch him on talent. Not to that degree. We got some, but not to that degree. And I wonder, wherever he is in heaven or wherever, did he realize the impact that he made on, did he understand how much we really, really liked him? So in closing, I just want to say Miss you, Prince. Rest in peace. From one of your Purple Rain lovers and just a fan since your very first album. I have made some notes about his first album. His first album was called, his debut album was called For You. And my favorite song on that album was Soft and Wet. He had some other songs on there, but that was the song that caused my mother's heart to be like, who is this freak? I mean, she was talking about calling the radio station and having him taken off the radio because she said he was so nasty. And it's funny now that I'm a mother and I think about now that I understand what he was singing about, I can understand why my mother was mad. But just wanted to come on and give my farewell to his royal badness and hope that his family does right by him. And just goodbye, Prince. Rest in peace. All right, YouTube. Bye-bye.